Today, I rise to adjourn in the memory of Jaime Alanis Garcia. Jaime was a proud farm worker in Camarillo, California. He was from Michoacán, Mexico, and he dedicated 30 years of his life working in our agricultural fields here in the state of California. He is described as someone who is full of joy, a very hard worker, and a giving person. Jaime worked for 10 years on the Central Coast, picking tomatoes and other crops to provide and support for his wife and daughter who live in Mexico. On July 10th, there were ice raids in Camarillo. Jaime climbed onto a greenhouse roof where he called his family in fear. He called his family to explain that he didn't know what was going to happen, but he wanted to let them know that ice had come on to the farm he was working on. It wasn't until later in the afternoon that his family was notified by the hospital that Jaime had fallen 30 feet and sustained life-ending injury. Jaime's family was forced to face the reality of his death without ever getting a chance to properly say goodbye, to tell him how much they loved him. Jaime's last call to his family was to tell them how scared he was. He never knew in that moment that that's the last thing or only thing he would get to say to them for the rest of their lives. And after 30 years of working in this country as a farm worker, doing the job that our government, our country, our constituents has called an essential worker job, that his life would end that day, that way, because of where he was working. Jaime had no criminal record. He was who our country and our state depended on to provide food on all of our tables. And his last moments on earth were filled with terror. Jaime is the first life and the first loss that we've seen by these immigration raids that are happening in our state. Jaime is expected to be taken to his hometown of Juanjumbaro, Michoacán, where his wife, daughter, and family await him. Jaime's life was dedicated to our lands, our crops, and to providing for his family. It's a story and a history that many of us in this chamber personally understand. It's also a story and a history that 882,000 farm workers in California and 2.6 million farm workers in this country understand. Members, I ask that we adjourn today in Jaime's memory.